Hello everyone, FPL Raptor here and welcome back to another Fantasy Football Fix price change prediction video. We'll be coming to you every single evening from the Fantasy Football Fix studios to bring you the latest with respect to potential price rises and potential price falls. Now just a reminder, I myself am on weekend duty and at the weekends it's very difficult to predict price changes because of games being played all the time. There's lots of bandwagons happening and people knee-jerk in response to different games and different outcomes. And of course, price changes are not an exact science and the algorithm is still learning based on the new parameters for this season. However, you can stay up to date with the latest if you head over to fantasyfootballfix.com or you download our app and enable push notifications. So after watching this video, before you make your moves, head over to the site, download the app and you can stay up to date with the latest transfer activity. But without further ado, let's get into the video. Now, I think the plan for many of us that own Kostas Tsimikas was to hopefully wait until he went up to 4.2 million, sell him for 4.1 million, and then buy the best £4 million defender at that time, thereby banking £0.1 million. And one of those options to replace Tsimikas with was Shane Duffy, who is currently priced at £4 million. Unfortunately, it does look like Shane Duffy is going to go up in price before Tsimikas, or at least at the same time as him, because Shane Duffy is predicted to go up in price tonight. At the time of recording, he's at 98.5% progress, and he's rising at about 6.5% per hour. So if he continues at that rate, there's a very high likelihood that Shane Duffy goes up in price tonight. Even if he slows down a bit, there's still a small chance he does. Obviously, as I said, on weekend duty, there are a lot of different changes in response to different games. In the game that is playing right this second, Reece James has got a goal and an assist. That will probably create another bandwagon as well. So it does change very quickly, but it does at this point in time look like Shane Duffy's going to go up in price. Now, if we take a look at his shot map, from game week 1 and game week 2, you can see that he's taken 7 shots in the box. Now, the XG of those shots was only 0.11, so they weren't great chances, but he is getting in the box from corners, and he gets on the end of every single corner from Pascal Gross. Now, 7 shots in the box puts him 5th in the league for shots in the box in the first 2 game weeks, and that's equal with Heung-min Son and Bruno Fernandes combined. So he's getting a lot of opportunities, and at 4 million, he is absolute FPL gold. The only worry would be that once Veltman is back, once Dan Burn recovers from his injury and once Lamptey is back, I do think that there is quite a reasonable chance that he loses his place. However, I have spoken to a few Brighton fans and they think that when Veltman comes back, there's a chance that he goes into right wing back or potentially starts on the bench whilst he's still recovering. So I think Duffy might be safe for the next sort of 3 or 4 game weeks potentially, but don't view him as a long-term option. But he is over the next few weeks a really nice option. Now, the next potential price change is actually 2 players in the similar positions at the same sort of price, both playing for Manchester United, and they are Mason Greenwood and Paul Pogba, who are both probably in reaction to their great performance today. Mason Greenwood scored a goal, Paul Pogba got another assist, so both in the action once again. And at the time of recording, Mason Greenwood is at 104.6% progress and Pogba is at 94.6% progress. Now, both are rising at quite the rate as well. So we have Greenwood rising at 4.8% per hour and Pogba rising at 5.6% per hour. So as I've said, I'm not sure if these bandwagons will continue at this rate right up until the price change deadline. They probably won't. But if they do continue at this rate for the next couple of hours, there's a strong chance that Mason Greenwood and Paul Pogba will both rise in price tonight. Now, yes, they both returned in the 1-1 draw against Southampton today. If we take a look at their heat maps, neither of them are particularly getting in that many promising positions. You can see there's not that many touches in the box either. So yes, they're both getting points, and that's the main thing in FPL, but I'm not particularly impressed by the positioning of either of the players. And actually, so we've seen Mason Greenwood has scored 2 goals in the first 2 game weeks. Those 2 goals are actually from 0.34 expected goals. So he's only expected to score 0.34 goals, but he's got 2. We know that Paul Pogba has got 5 assists in the first 2 games, and that's from an expected assist stat of 0.79. So expected to get less than 1 assist and he has 5. Now, both players are clearly just performing very well, but I would say that they are both probably overperforming, and I'm not sure that we expect it to continue at this rate in future game weeks unless they step up their performances. So I'm not against bringing in either player, but just worth noting that the underlying statistics aren't that great for either of them. And just whilst we're on these mid-priced midfielders at around 7.5 million, we discussed Diogo Jota in quite a lot of detail in yesterday's episode. So if you want to go and look at the statistics for him, go and watch that. But we predicted that he could rise in price yesterday, but it could also be today. And it does look like it is going to be today. At the time of recording, he's at around 105% progress, still rising at a few percent per hour. So there's a strong likelihood that Pogba, Greenwood and Jota go up in price, or at least one of those will be. But as we've said before, if you go over to fantasyfootballfix.com after this video and check for yourself, because this is obviously recorded a few hours prior to release, but there's a lot of activity around that £7.5 million mark in the midfield. Now, if we move on to potential price falls, the main player of quite high percentage ownership at the time of recording this is Matt Targett. Looks like he could potentially fall in price tonight. Now, he's been transferred out by 30,000 managers at the time of recording. He's at about 93.6%, but he is falling at quite the rate at around 3.3% per hour. So if you do own Matty Targett, the plan was probably to move him out after game week 3 anyway. If we take a look at Villa's fixtures, after that relatively nice fixture against Brentford in game week 3, they faced Chelsea, Everton, Man United and Tottenham in the 4 games after that. So the plan was always probably to only have Targett for the first 3. But after he was tormented by Sarr in the first half of game week 1 and was replaced by Ashley Young and then obviously benched in game week 2 for Ashley Young once again, there's quite a strong likelihood that he misses that game week 3 anyway. So what I would do is I would just move him out a week earlier. There are lots of options around 5 million that you could move him to. And what you really don't want is him to drop to 4.9, because then you can probably only replace him with a £4.5 million defender. So probably get ahead of the curve, probably move him out this week if you haven't. But unfortunately, due to the rate that he's falling, to sell him for 5 million, you might potentially have to sell him tonight. But as per every other video that we've done, you can check the latest at fantasyfootballfix.com, because he might slow down and it might be that he doesn't quite reach that 100% progress tonight. Now, the final player to discuss is actually a very, very interesting one. And I've included them despite the progress being very low, because my word, we have quite the bandwagon on our hands here. And that player is Romelu Lukaku. At the time of recording, he's at 21.9%, but I am recording this during the Chelsea-Arsenal game. So he's at 21.9%, but he has scored in the game, and therefore he's currently rising at 9.2% per hour. So there are tons of managers that have just seen him score and are panicking now to try and get him into their teams. So whilst I don't expect it to continue at 9.2% per hour, there is a small chance that he will increase in price tonight. I'm not going to delve into the stats now, because I've got a feeling that it won't be tonight, but that it will potentially be tomorrow that he rises in price, because I reckon that will slow down. And therefore we can discuss his underlying statistics, the fixtures, and potentially how we get him in tomorrow's video. But something to keep an eye on. When this video goes live, we'll have more of an idea if he continues at that rate. He might get another goal during the game, but definitely worth keeping an eye on. And I think he will potentially go up on Monday night if he doesn't go up tonight. It's also worth remembering at this stage that we try to cover as much as we can in these videos, but we can't always cover every single player that's predicted to change in price. And so we've covered 3 or 4 players in today's video, but at the time of recording this, there are over 20 players that are predicted to change in price. Now, again, because it's the weekend, some of these will slow down, but other bandwagons may take off this evening. So it's worth keeping up to date yourself. There are the likes of John Stones, Marcus Rashford, Edinson Cavani, potentially Danny Ings. There are a lot of players that we haven't discussed in today's video that are also predicted to change in price either tonight or potentially tomorrow. So if you want to stay up to date with the latest and you don't want to miss out on any potential price changes, do head over to fantasyfootballfix.com. That's the best way to stay up to date, because like I said, these videos are recorded. So guys, there you have it. Those are the latest predicted price rises and price falls. Now, just a reminder, as I said, at the weekend, there are a lot of different bandwagons and transfer activity happening, so it is quite difficult to predict, and it does change hour by hour and even minute by minute sometimes. So to stay up to date with the latest transfer activity and predicted price changes, head over to our website, fantasyfootballfix.com, or download our free app and enable push notifications. And if you're enjoying the content on our channel, please do like and subscribe. We're bringing you daily videos, not just price change related, but also some other content as well. So if you're enjoying the content, like, comment, subscribe, enable push notifications, and we will see you tomorrow evening for the next lot of price change predictions. Catch you next time, guys. Bye-bye.